Welcome to the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast, bringing you the country's top podcast on the subject of internet marketing, with your hosts Glenn Thayer and the CEO of Intuitive Websites, Thomas Young.
Folks, welcome back to another podcast. You know, there's the future is content marketing, and Tom and I were kind of discussing where it's going, what it is, and what does it matter to our listeners, and what does it matter to our clients and our customers. So I guess let's just jump right in, Tom. What is content marketing?
Well, if you've been listening to our podcast, you've heard us talk a lot about content on the web, marketing on the web, and we've even used the term content marketing. And so we thought this would be great to talk not only about the future of content marketing, but to dive into kind of the current strategies, what's working, what's not working. And I think that the best definition of content marketing is that it's online distribution of information about your organization that provides value to customers and to your target market. And this content should drive inquiries and sales for your business. So all those things have to come together. It's really not content marketing. If all you're doing is talking about how great you are, and it doesn't do anything for you, that's not content marketing. That's called brochureware or market speak. But true content marketing is information that's distributed, that gets out there, that drives inquiries and sales for your business.
You know, another thing from content marketing is not new. This is nothing new. And I think a lot of people think that it's a new buzzword, content marketing. It's new. It's brand new. It's the future. It's been around forever, and those of us who are around in the 70s remember Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom on TV.
That's right.
Content marketing really started around when television companies would come in and sponsor news hours or programs. That was the first form of content marketing.
Educational marketing, right. Absolutely.
Education. Those are the types of things that came through. Now, I was privileged to host a conference last month with a lot of the thought leaders in content marketing and the future of marketing. And one of the folks that was there was Rebecca Lieb from the Altimeter Group, and she wrote a blog post on content marketing, content strategy, what's the difference? And she said really there's two things. There's content strategy, and one of content strategy has been described as the practice of planning for content creation, delivery, and governance, and a repeatable system that defines the entire editorial content development process. Now, that's different from content marketing. Content marketing is an umbrella term that encompasses all marketing formats that involve the creation or sharing of content for the purpose of engaging current and potential customer bases. Now, this is taken directly from the Altimeter Group blog on content marketing, and we'll have that posted so you can take a look at that too for all of our listeners. So it's just something to think about when you go into content marketing. What is it? What is it not? It is not sales. It's not selling, and it's not marketing your product, saying here's a brochure, just like you said, brochureware.
Yeah,
thank you.
Well, it's gone so far beyond what it used to be. I mean, when I first started in web marketing in the late 90s, we would just put articles on the website. That was content marketing, an article on the website. And it's gone so far beyond that it needs its own group of people driving a strategy that's been developed for the business around it.
You know, you nailed it right there. And this is one of the most important, the number one thing that came up at this conference time and time again is content marketing. There's typically no budget for it. Nobody thinks it's free. We can get on Facebook and post. We can get a blog post for free. We can put it on our website. It's free. Yes, right. Content creation is free. However, the people that you have for production, for producing that content and keeping that content is not free. You have to have a team of people responsible for the content, for creating that content. Now, that's one portion. One portion is the people responsible for it. The next is your content for content marketing is not coming from the marketing department. It's coming from all other aspects of your organization. The sales team. It's coming from accounting. It's coming from all the stories, and content marketing a lot of time is stories. They don't care about your product. They want to hear about your people. They want to hear about what great things are happening in the world.
Yeah, well, you have a much smarter consumer. I mean, the internet has driven knowledge to a whole new level. I mean, there was a time, even a few years ago, where you just realized you weren't going to know that much about the business you were working with, or the possible business you were going to research and do business with. And now that's really changed. Now people want to know. They want to know the specifics of what they're getting into. And the internet has made that possible. It's also driven the reverse effect, where if you don't have a good content strategy in place, then you get forgotten or you get lost. But you really won't know why that's happening or how it's happening. No one's going to come to you and say, hey, I decided not to contact you because I couldn't figure out enough about your services or your products. They're not going to say that. They're just going to disappear. They're going to show up as a web stat on your website that bounced off the site, right? And so definitely the content has to be there. And it's changing, and it's changing in so many ways and evolving every day, and social media is driving that. Mm-hmm. Facebook definitely did that. LinkedIn's doing that now. Pinterest is also driving the way content can be displayed.
Well, didn't LinkedIn buy SlideShare?
I'm not sure about that. Maybe they did.
Something like that. They either bought it or now they have some type of other relationship, which is now going to change. Well, I mean, it's always been there, but embedding that changes the landscape from the B2B landscape.
Yeah, what LinkedIn seems to mean, the way content is used the best in LinkedIn is to start a discussion.
Yeah.
And it's real interesting to see what fires a discussion and what doesn't. And a lot of times it's really someone just linking an article that they didn't write. So you have to be thinking about writing an article somewhere else and then linking that article in LinkedIn and saying, hey, this is cool. And my thought is, well, why not just post the article right in LinkedIn?
There's a reason for that, and I have an answer for you here.
Okay.
And this is here's another term for you. You've got content strategy, content marketing. The other is content curation. And what content curation does, and this is where you talk about LinkedIn, you do a summary of the article. And it's almost just summarizing this article, and that becomes your blog post. And on LinkedIn, that would be it. Here's an article I read. Here's where the value is. So instead of just posting a link, this is a great article. Why? And then you give your opinion on it. So here's my opinion. Here's my 2 cents. Here's my experience with it.
That seems to be what's happening on LinkedIn. And what's interesting is to try to figure out what lights the fire. What is the spark that lights the fire? And it's one of the things I'm doing right now is kind of a task for myself is to try to get a handle on what is working in LinkedIn to start a fire, to start a discussion. Because once again, as one of the things about content is that most content's never acted upon. I mean, for every person that posts a comment on LinkedIn, 100 or more read that comment and maybe even read the article.
Well, what lights you up? I mean, let's think of it. When you're on LinkedIn, what do you read?
Well, for me, it's stuff that's going to have direct value to what I'm focused on at the time, or that sparks a personal interest as well. If there's a discussion going on around web marketing, definitely I jump in on that one, especially within the Vistage community, which is what we spend a lot of time in the Vistage community. But I guess for me, if it's something I'm personally interested in, definitely could start a discussion there. I don't know. I mean, I think that's something that I'm going to be researching more to get a handle on, because obviously what I want to do as a content leader is spark discussions on LinkedIn. That's a challenge that I've kind of set for myself. One of the things I'm concerned about a little bit in LinkedIn is that because what we do here at Intuitive Websites can be so focused and so strategic, it may not connect with a lot of the LinkedIn folks. So I'm trying to get a handle on that. That's a challenge for us. And I think it's true in every company. Whatever you're doing, whatever services or products you provide, if you're going to start to spark a discussion around content, you've got to understand what's going to ignite the fire. And
I think that's where marketing, and I don't know, and this is something, likewise, just like you're exploring it, I'm exploring it too. It's the same thing. What's going to light up my consumer base? What's going to light up my clients or the people I'm trying to market to? Well, realistically, those people want to connect with a human being.
And the fundamentals never change. I mean, they want a connection. They want to know something of substance. I think one of the things to do might be to gather information and to ask them, what are the things? What areas are you interested in?
Or just sharing things that you're interested in. Like
Definitely.
If you're posting things, if you read an article that moved you, that you're like, ooh, this is great. Well, then you write your thoughts on it, and then share that link. Now you have content that you've curated,
yes,
and you've linked it to the other one. So you have content you've created now that lives on your blog, that lives in your LinkedIn site, that lives on your Facebook business page that you have, your Google Plus business page. You have that living there, and then it still goes to the article. And
Right.
it's relevant to you personally. It's personally relevant to you. If it's relevant to you, you can guarantee there's going to be a lot of people out there that it'll be relevant to.
Yeah, and I think the way to do it, and this is what I'm doing now, this is a strategy we're doing and recommending to our clients, is be consistent with your content placements and focus on what is relevant in your day-to-day business and what's important, like you said, what's important to you. And I think that as you do that, this whole content strategy will kind of evolve as you start to put it out there.
Well, let's talk about strategy for a minute. I mean, as far as being strategic with content marketing, how does one start that?
Well, I think it's important to understand the fundamentals here, and also understand that content marketing is there to drive sales growth for the business. It's also there to drive leads, or direct e-commerce sales. It has a very specific purpose. It's not there just to fill in space or for SEO results. I mean, you have to see that bottom line. And we've talked about this in other podcasts, but this whole idea of inbound marketing, this whole idea of content marketing is that the way sales and marketing used to happen have been turned on its head. You used to go knock on doors and make your pitch, more or less. And now what you're doing is you can't knock on doors anymore. So you have to make your pitch further into the sales process by sparking discussions, by sparking interest in your content. So when someone finally does make contact with you, it's at a much higher level. You're not talking about that, well, so tell me what your company does, like in the old days of selling. What you're talking about is, I know what your company does. I've seen all your results. I know how to follow what you've been doing. How can you help us with this very specific need? How can you help us increase traffic to our website and convert it? That's what I mean. So that's what content marketing is doing, and the strategy needs to work toward those end results. Keeping in mind that brochure copy is no longer relevant, and that the genius in making this work is not only in sparking the interest, but in keeping it simple and direct enough that people will click through and make something happen.
And one of the other things that that comes up here is the fact that, where does it live? Which strategies it live in? When we talk all the time, you've got your web marketing strategies, and
right.
You go back to what is your overall marketing plan? What is your marketing plan? Your web marketing plan. Then you have your marketing plan. Your content marketing strategy doesn't live in your web marketing plan. It is a part of your web marketing plan, but it doesn't live there, because content doesn't just live on the web. It
Right.
lives in other places. So it needs to be part of your overall marketing strategy and your marketing plan.
And tie into your brand, which is basically
Yes.
who you are as a company and what you're about and what's your philosophy. And it'll be real interesting, because what content marketing does is it makes companies much more transparent. We talk, people want to research you anyway, but content marketing, if done well, makes you transparent. So when you hear things like, I saw something recently about Amazon, we talked about how great Amazon is as a company, as a website, but how are they as a company? And one of the things I read about Amazon is they were just installing air conditioners for their workers in a lot of their warehouses.
Interesting.
So what you're telling me basically is that you're doing it now. What about all the years that these people have had to work in 100-degree temperatures in their warehouse stocking Amazon products? Is that how we get great prices on Amazon? Well, that doesn't help the brand, does it? So that's what content marketing does. Good thing they're changing it now, though.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Well, I mean, what are some things? Let's talk about content strategies. What are good content strategies? Do you have any examples?
Yeah, and in fact, we talked about this before the podcast. If you have an e-commerce website, we know for sure you need to have great product content and information and pricing and promotions, all those things. That's got to be in place. But there's more to the product than what is going to be seen on the website. There's uses of the products. There's specific benefits of the product and specific non-benefits of the product. It's a great software to use, except keep in mind it doesn't do this. If you want to do this, then you've got to go with the ultimate plan. And that kind of feedback or information is critical to this research or this transparency that the web consumer is going to be doing before they actually pull the trigger.
Well, I hear a prime example is, your content strategies should be driving trust, especially if you're in e-commerce. prime example that I have is we use Logic Studio to record the podcast.
A software program.
A software program
for the Mac.
For the Mac. You can download it at the App Store from Apple. What I would love to have seen is beforehand to be able to go how-to videos. How-to with Logic. Oh, you want to record a session, you want to do a podcast. Here's how easy it is to use in Logic. Now, not only for somebody who's purchased the program, because I go to YouTube all the time to go look for content on how to, so I don't have to look at the manual. The manual is terrible.
It's difficult, yes.
It's painful. It's, hundreds and hundreds of pages of pain.
Yes.
I would rather watch a video. And if that was on there, it would build so much more loyalty for me as a user. And as somebody who's new to a program or researching programs, I would want to be able to see a video. Now, that's content. That's not selling the product. It's not saying, here's the product, buy it from us. It's saying, this is a how-to video. Here's what it is. And it might be 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
Here's the practical applications of using our software in the real world.
And that's true. That's true of physical products as well. If you're buying a briefcase, if you're buying a telephone, whatever you're buying, there's all these practical pieces of information that you need. And what the product does well and where it falls short. Because some people may not need the product to do these whiz-bag things, right? But other people might. That kind of information really helps.
They want to take a look at it. Another example I have is Maxon Lift. They're the lift company, and you've probably seen their lifts on the back of freight trucks. It's like the little freight lift that lifts it up. You can put, your dolly or whatever and your pallets on, and it lifts it up to the top of the truck. Maxon Lift has a bunch of YouTube videos that just shows the lift. Here's the lift, and it shows them in different ways. Here's how easy it is to make it work.
Yeah, how does it work when it's raining? How does it work with different weights and loads?
How does it work when you're unloading on grass?
That's right.
All of that stuff that just shows it there. So if instead of being brochureware, it's not like, here's what it is, and you can install this on your truck for however much the price is. That's not there, but it's showing real people.
That's right.
It doesn't have somebody who's got a Maxon shirt on or anything, and it's not a produced video.
Well, if you have a smarter consumer and a smarter marketplace, you can't oversell and underdeliver. And that's basically what we've done in this country for the last 50 years is we over-promote, we oversell, and then you get the product and it underdelivers. Think, plastic stuff from China, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So what the Internet's forcing companies to do now is to realistically show me what it's going to deliver, and then when I actually get the product, then there's satisfaction there.
Now, what type of content types or platforms should people be using?
Well, yeah, and once we talked about this in our previous podcast, is that if you've got to look at the segmentation of the people, your target market, and the people that are going to interact with you, whether they're customers or prospects, and you have to understand, what do they prefer? Do they prefer video, audio, pictures with captions, slideshows, animation, written articles, blog postings, social media? How do they prefer to get their content? That has to be part of your overall strategy. And if you're not selling tangible products like we just talked about, if you're selling services, then you need to be talking about how your service helps people make their job better or enhances the quality of their life. And same thing, it's the same kind of tangible and intangible thing. And you also have to look at another component, which is how is all this distributed, through what channels. So it can get relatively complicated really quick, but one of the things that you mentioned, which is awesome, is that the fundamentals, though, never change. The fundamentals of direct interaction between two people or communicating, that sort of thing, that never changes. Also, the idea that you want to build trust in what you're saying. You want to be honest and have a lot of integrity and be very sincere. That's important. And then finally, simplicity. We've talked about how to prepare content for the web. Content that is more simple and direct gets read. Complicated content with lots of blocks of text and so forth doesn't get read. So if you do these things, this helps kind of define the new content strategies you need.
There's one other thing that I totally forgot to mention, which I've been utilizing a lot lately. Ebooks, short ebooks, or white papers that might be under 50 pages long that you can publish as an ebook on the Kindle platform and deliver for free.
Absolutely. Even an ebook on Kindle, a PDF on the web, absolutely, those are very important.
Because those PDFs can be downloaded to your Kindle app.
Yeah,
so
distributed.
Make it simple. So Tom, what are the key action items for the listeners for this podcast?
Well, I think the idea that content distribution and content marketing is a section in your overall marketing plan. It's a section in your web marketing plan. You need to look at it and develop a strategy around that, and then follow all the different disciplines we've talked about with strategy, from outlining it from the user's need perspective and testing it and getting research, to finding someone who's going to be the content marketing manager. Maybe they don't even write any content themselves, but they manage this whole process and they track it and monitor it. One of the most important things is to coordinate your efforts, because we know people prefer different mediums for content. Take advantage of what has worked historically offline in your company. So if you're trying to come up with an idea of what are we going to write about, what are we going to talk about, have a brainstorming session where you just get a big whiteboard, and on that whiteboard, write down all the cool things that have happened in your company over the last however many years you've been in business, or all the cool things you expect to happen, and all the things that happen daily in the business that are cool, the different kind of communications and so forth.
And all of the conversations, the great conversations you have with your clients.
Definitely.
What types of conversations are you having with them? What challenges or concerns do they have that they bring up? Oh, I'm having this issue in another part of my business, maybe that you don't provide services for, but it might be something that you go, oh, we could address that in our content.
Absolutely. And this list, this master list, then your content manager can take it, narrow it down, and those become topics and part of your strategy. Keep it simple, keep it direct, keep it visual as much as possible. Think Pinterest and what they're doing. And then get feedback and measure the results. But most importantly, once you start to make content marketing part of your awareness as a marketing professional, I think these things will start to come together, and you'll have a good plan.
Well, folks, once again, thanks for listening. And once you've had your content marketing strategy and you've put all that together and tested and getting some results, we'd love to hear the feedback that you've been getting. We'd love to hear what results you have. You can email that to us at info@intuitivewebsites.com. We'd love to hear it. We always love hearing from you. So shoot us an email and let us know what you're doing with your strategies. Thanks again for joining us.
This has been an Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. For more information and to see all the available podcasts and much more, visit intuitiveblog.com. If you have a website you would like us to review or an issue you would like to see covered in future podcasts, email us at info@intuitivewebsites.com.